co-host who's really good at what she does.
Thanks, Chris.
Kylie Montigny from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
The one and only, the office state.
Yes. And we don't have to worry, Kylie, today about doing a solo. We can just start into it.
All right, perfect.
So,
Less stress. Less stress.
here we are with the opposite band of Good Mary, Bad Mary. They're very bad.
Quite.
The worst.
And Kylie, they're wonderful people. And last time I interviewed them, and just so confident with them and comfortable with them, so you'll like them. So welcome back, Mike and Amanda. We're gonna mention to you that you also let's start from the beginning. Can you give us both a background again of who you are?
Oh, well, thank you. Mike gestured towards me, so I guess I'm going first. So my name is Amanda Mack. I am the lead vocalist for the band Bad Mary. That's the short version.
That's right.
Keep it short. Shorter better than long.
Yeah, we're keeping it short and sweet and to the point. My name is Mike Staub. I am the bassist and backup vocalist for Bad Mary. I also do a lot of the. I consider it a considerable amount of the songwriting for the band, even though we are a band that does most of our songs kind of as a group together.
Mike brings in a lot of the bones.
I bring a lot of tunes into the studio before we start working on them as a group, as does David, our guitar player. It's kind of, the songs kind of start with either him or I, and then we bring them to the studio, and then the band gets together and does everything that way. Not pictured with us today are David Henderson, who is our guitar player, and Bill Mack, who is Amanda's dad, and he is our drummer. So Bad Mary is a 4-piece band: bass, guitar, drums, and vocals. And we've been together as a band for roughly 13 years now. And we've been Bad Mary for about 10 or 11, like almost 11-ish. And yeah, we're doing this whole original music thing.
Yes, and a lot of your music is drawn from influence from the likes of Blondie, who I love, and also the Ramones, Green Day, and the Dollyrots. So that's very interesting. Kylie, let's see. You asked the first question.
Oh, perfect. Oh, what do I have the honor of the first question today? What do you feel is the best song that you have released and why?
Ooh, best song. According to Spotify, it's the newest one. Just because that just shot up real fast. So I may have a different answer at the end of this after I percolate more on that, but I'm going to go with that right now just because currently it's the most fun to sing, I think, just because it's brand new. We haven't really played it live super a lot, so whenever we do play it at a live show at a new venue, it's oh, they've got a new one. So the rush for that is just really fun.
Does the song have a name?
I'm getting to that, Mike. It's called It's All Trash. Because it's all trash. Sometimes you just have days where everything's garbage. This is garbage. Everyone is garbage. I'm garbage. And that's kind of a song to just let that out too. So it's been a lot of fun. That's coming out on the next EP. And it's a single now.
It's a sing.
Yeah, I thought I'd use that opportunity when you said everything's garbage. So Shirley Manson, because she's the lead singer of Garbage.
She's wonderful.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. She's
great.
I
wish I knew Shirley Manson. If you happen upon this recording, can I meet you, please? Yes?
All the way from Scotland.
Hey, I might still have family floating around there.
Who knows?
Why not?
Who knows?
Ooh, you have family in Scotland?
My grandpa was from Glasgow, so he moved to America when he was a kid. So beyond that, I've never been over there. I would love to reconnect with some of my family. If Shirley Manson happens to be there too, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm Scottish as well. I have some like Scottish in my genes, so we had actually might have some things in common there.
That would be cool. I don't meet a lot of people that also say that they're Scottish. Like I'm Irish also, and that
Oh, me too.
where we
A
are,
little
like
bit
I get,
Irish.
but I don't hear Scottish a lot, so it's nice to meet someone else.
A little bit Scottish and a little bit of Irish.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, I like Billie Eilish too. Just kidding.
I was listening to her today.
I was just yeah.
But
It's
you're not a
good to have-
bad guy.
Duh.
Like, did you like hear that like rap song about Billie Eilish? It's like its name is literally Billie Eilish as a song. It's literally about Billie Eilish.
Oh, no. Who did that?
I forget the name, but it's like black that term Billie Eilish. It's like
Oh, wow.
that's like one of the lines. I have to
Oh, wow.
find it, but it's like a song. It's like the title of the song is Billie Eilish.
Oh, that's cool.
It became very popular. Like I don't know, if, like on like the United States, and it became popular, but I'm not sure like it become popular where you guys were located. Like where are you guys located?
New York. We're in New York.
Oh, New York. Oh,
But
I gotta find it and send it to you guys.
Please
I can
do.
see it the way the internet works now, and searching music. There's so much music out there, and you need to put like everything online. That's kind of the rules these days. So if you make a song titled Billie Eilish, that's
Yeah.
actually kind of genius, because how many people are Googling Billie Eilish and they put that and it's like, oh, here's this song also called that. Like it's wild how you have to play with the search engines and the algorithms now to be like, here's my music. But like that's brilliant. And I haven't heard it and now I really want to hear it.
You have to go looking.
It's
You gotta go
really
look
good.
for
It's
it.
kind of like a mix a little bit of Billie Eilish, but rap. Like it's all like hip hop rap type of style.
Cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, I know that song too. I just can't remember, and I'm trying to look for the title, and I can't find it. But I really like her
It's like in
brother.
all caps Billie Eilish, I believe.
Yeah, Phineas, her brother Phineas is. I like his music. I find him more versatile, and him and Billy actually they sang together in a few songs. But basically, I don't think he uses like. I hear that he hardly uses Phineas Eilish because he doesn't want to really be associated. Well, I mean, he loves his sister, but he doesn't want to be associated with like he wants his own music. He doesn't want people to get him ahead in the music business because his sister is Billy, right? So
Yeah, you see that happen a lot, across all mediums, like Stephen King's son, Joe Hill. He didn't want to use the name King because he didn't want to, kind of seem like he was riding his dad's coattails. I get it.
Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage changed his name from Coppola to Cage because he didn't want to be,
associated with his uncle, the famous director. I know.
Yeah.
It happened. Yeah.
It happens. I get it. You want to make it on your own steam.
Also, Nicolas Cage is a great name.
Nick Cage,
Like,
baby. Cage Rage.
Yeah. But so how would you guys describe your musical style? Like, what style do you usually like to stick with? Because I know that last time we spoke, I think you said that you sometimes like to do some Dean Martin type.
Yes, definitely. We're a couple of crooners. I think what we always go for is loud, fast, and fun. That's kind of our vibe. That's what we're looking to do.
We get thrown under the umbrella of punk
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, punk rock.
And we have embraced that because
Yeah.
it's really just fast, loud, fun, and whatever ends up on the page, that's what we play. Like it's
Yeah, punk rock, classic new wave, glam punk,
it's a
punk and roll, a whole bunch of like made up things
Well,
that all work.
I think that happened when we first started playing out. Even now, sometimes it's difficult. Like we get put with a lot of different types of shows. So we'll play a hardcore show sometimes, and we know how to kind of change our set to fit with that dynamic a bit more. But we're still like campy, fast, loud, fun. Like we're not as hardcore, but we can fit with that. And then if we have more like pop punk bands, we have songs and we can kind of fit in that area too. And like there's been a lot of different types of shows that we've played that definitely overlap into ultimately what we are, which if you've seen, we do live streams every week on Tuesdays, and it's very much just us in the studio talking with each other, being dumb and just having fun and playing through our songs. And that is very much like our style on stage. We're just all about, we want to have a good time. We want to connect with the audience, with the listeners, with anybody out there, and really just kind of share the music community. It's fast, loud fun. We like lyrics that have some kind of story to it sometimes, or it's really...
Yeah, it's punchy, it's bratty, it's whatever, it's all that stuff. Irreverent. I think we're a little irreverent as people and as a band, but in the end, it's all about having a good time. And we want to write and record the music that we want to perform live and have fun with. If we don't want to perform it live, then there's no point for us to write or record it. So whatever falls under that fast, loud, fun umbrella.
And sometimes it's just all trash.
Yeah.
Garbage trash.
Amanda, what kind of music did your dad grow up with? I was thinking that Perry Como, maybe. Marian Anderson.
Actually, we did listen to like a lot of that stuff. So I grew up in a multi-generational house with my grandmother and my parents. And then my dad's mom, different grandmother, she was a big band singer when my dad was a kid. So he would sometimes come in and play the drums with the big jazz band and like orchestra. So he grew up kind of listening to everything. It was either Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, big band. Why can't I think of the orchestra? The Little Brown Jug. Who is that?
Off the top of my head, I can't think right now. But Bill also got really into rock and roll. Obviously, grew up listening to a lot of the Beatles, a lot of, the Rolling Stones, a lot of Cream. He's a big Cream fan. Vanilla Fudge, The Who, and also bands like The Band.
But also like he loved the Cars.
Yeah.
Like all that 80s kind of super produced but really cool rock like that. Like he loved that. Supertramp. I remember Breakfast in America was an album that we listened to like all the time when I was a kid. So that was his. But then living with my grandma in the house, we had a CD player that had like 7 CDs or something that we would just put on shuffle. So you would have like the Beatles, Frank Sinatra. You'd have some, like if I was in the musical in school or whatever, you would have like, oh, there's the cast recording for Grease in there. And like, it was just a random
Grease Lightning.
Yeah. But that's kind of,
I got you. Lion.
And out
great.
losing
Yes.
control.
Great music.
But so when people ask us like, where did our style come from? I also grew up very much doing theater. That's how my dad and I started working together when I was younger, because he would come and play in the pit at the theater where I did shows when I was young. So that's why we have a full album that's the Return of Space Girl, which is like a concept story. I love that stuff because I grew up with the theater aspect, but I love the rock and roll. So it's a big mix. So yeah, we did listen to Perry Como, we did listen to Dean Martin and like all that stuff too. But I would love to. I say this all the time. We released a whole bunch of covers this past year, so we're probably not going to do another big cover release like that for at least a bit. But if we ever did one live, I want to do "Fly Me to the Moon" so bad. I want to do a cover of that song so badly.
All right, I'll get on arranging it. Yeah. I've done a lot of our arrangements on our cover tunes. So it's usually like, hey, Mike, figure this out and teach us how to play it. So obviously we all do work together, but I can arrange that. I could figure that out pretty quickly. Probably, hopefully, 10 years later.
Well, I'm very excited that you guys actually have 3 shows up ahead, April 7th and 8th in Bethpage. And I never met Bethpage, but anyway, just kidding.
I make that joke so frequently. I always say, I once knew a Bethpage.
It's a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good joke.
You know
so I
Bethpage?
think you're going to make a joke out of this one, too. You're on Monday, April 24th and September 3rd, Amityville. Ooh. Amityville.
Amityville. Yeah, right by the horror house.
It's really not far from the actual house.
No, it's not that far. So we grew up on Long Island, so this is where we're from. Amityville is a town on Long Island towards the south shore of western Suffolk County, which is the easternmost county on Long Island. And we always heard people making pilgrimages to Amityville to see the horror house.
I used to pass it on the way to school every day.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, but Amityville Music Hall is a great spot. We love it there. We're playing on April 24th with our friends in Mega Infinity, as well as Hans Gruber and the Diehards.
I love that band name.
Oh, wow.
And that should be a really, really fun night.
This is our first time playing with them, and I'm just very excited to meet them.
Yes.
Because if a band's name is Hans Gruber and the Diehards, like they're
probably fun.
just very excited.
Actually, they're quite good. I've listened to a bunch of their music since we jumped on this bill. And then September 3rd, we were playing back at Amityville Music Hall with a band called Playing Dead, but also with the Dollyrots again. We're going to have the opportunity to play with them again, which is awesome. We played with them last summer in New York City at Bowery Electric, and it was an amazing night and an amazing show. And Tsunami Bomb, who is a band that I've liked for a very, very, very long time, and I'm excited to get to play with them. You know, I'm a big fan. I'm a child of the late 90s Warped Tour. Right. So, and I played a lot of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater as a teenager, and it had an incredible influence on the music that I liked. And a band like Tsunami Bomb's always been kind of floating around in those circles. So I'm very excited for this show. I cannot wait.
I love how like the names are kind of like spooky type of theme. That is, like, it sounds like unique, like scary type of names.
Yeah, I think there's always kind of like a weird horror element that gets kind of mixed in with all of this type of music. You know what I mean? Like rock and roll likes itself the macabre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a local band that we've played with that's like Sharp Violet.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's another, like if it's a name, Skating Polly is a band that I freaking love. They just came out with a new song.
Like a dark, trashy type name?
Dead Sarah.
Dead Sarah's a good one.
Dead
Plague
Sarah's
Vendor.
a great band also.
Plague Vendor's got a good one. I'm trying to think what
wow.
else.
Yeah, Plague Vendor's a great band.
That's a great band and a great band name. I'm trying to think of what else. What else bands have like these dark, trashy kind of names? Obviously, there's
I
Garbage.
will give you the first letter of the first name, V.
V.
The only one
Yeah,
I'm
the name of
thinking
the
right
group
now
starts with a V. No?
is the Veronicas, but I wouldn't.
You're going to
say
hate
that that's a
yourself when you
trashy
hear
name.
this. The Veronicas? No, they're not a trash.
No, that's what I didn't think of trashy, but when you said V, like that's the only word my brain.
You ready,
latched
guys?
onto.
Let's do it.
Violent Femmes.
Oh yeah, I love the Violent
And I
Femmes.
go walking, I
Yeah.
shut the sun, and I'm so strong.
I love that band. What a great band.
It is, yeah.
What a great band.
Ah,
They-
yeah.
Yeah, they're like the progenitors of like what they would consider to be folk punk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that band. What a good band. Really good bass lines in that band too. Like really, you know.
If you hear,
It
know
works.
what that is.
It works every time.
What color do you think your music is?
ooh, if you asked David, he would have a very definitive answer on that because he like assigns a color to everything. So we're gonna have our answer, but I'm interested to see what David will say.
We'll have to ask him and then report back. I mean, I know what it is.
I'm thinking it's like that pinky red.
Yeah, it's magenta. It's
Yeah.
magenta all the way up. That's our logo. It's magenta and black. That's kind of our whole vibe.
But
It's-
like if you turned it up and then also made it like kind of neon fuzzy.
Yeah. I like neon fuzzy. Yeah. That works. Yeah, it's like a pink and black is really what it is because it gets the fun, poppy pink color of everything, but you have the nice stark
There's just a little
black
bubble
backdrop.
gum in there.
Yeah, a little bubble gum.
Just a little bit.
Chew that gum. Make that bubble.
What do you think about that? Kylie, do you have any other trashy type names that come to your head or color for a name of a band besides City of Color?
I
use-
can't like think of any like bands that have like colors in their names. Like I know like some artists that have name color type of songs, like Blue in Your Color, Black and White. I know some people like artists that kind of made songs based off of color, but I never heard of like an artist or a band that's based off of the color
Yep.
off their name.
Look at your room. What
That's-
name of your band, the color of your room?
Mm.
That's a great color.
It's a
Yeah,
good color.
like, Chris, you know you can call me like the Purple Lagoon or something before we even started.
Well, okay, it is purple, but it's real thinking Pink Floyd.
Yeah, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, you're lucky I switched it, Chris. Unless you'd be making fun of me the whole time about it. So
Yeah, I wish it was green. I'd be saying Green Day. But
Yeah.
Green Day.
hey, I can
Or
switch
Deep
it to you if you
Purple.
want me
Could be
to.
Deep
Like, it's
Purple.
easy to switch.
Deep Purple. Yeah,
Deep
Blue
Purple.
Peter. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so many.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue
Yes.
Oyster Cult.
They're Long Island based.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now I'm thinking just I'm blue and da ba dee da ba da.
That's Eiffel
da ba
65.
dee. Yes, but
Yeah, what's that?
blew his house.
What's the next? There's a Kylie. There's that question. I don't think I have it. Ask them that next question there.
All right, perfect. If you did not become a musician, what would you be other than a musician if you did become that?
I'll steer away from another type of performance because I would love to do more acting. I went to school primarily for acting when I was younger, so I would probably try to step back more into theater or film or pursue something like that. But if we're veering out of performance entirely, I would love to work with animals. I love animals so much. When I was like little, the two things were like I want to be an astronaut and I want to be a veterinarian. So like those two, I either wanted to be in space or just either taking care of animals or working like with them in some capacity. I don't even know how. I just like them a lot. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a big animal person as well. I'm a big dog person. I love
my
animals,
favorite.
but dogs are my main factor.
too.
I literally beg my parents like every single day for 3 dogs. I have 3
Aw.
now.
Oh, that's great.
what
That's
kind
great.
of dogs?
I have a Bichon, a Morkie mix, and a Golden Retriever.
Aw.
Bichon Frise. Wow, Golden Retriever, my favorite. I had a Husky Shepherd.
Yeah, I begged my parents for like 3 years for a golden. It was my dream dog, and she's the sweetest dog ever. Like
I bet.
like before I was supposed to have an interview later, like earlier, and like I guess like the fire alarm was going off. It was like beeping, and she got so scared that she came in my room and basically just hid under my desk. And when I
Aw.
was basically doing an interview, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like this is not the time." And I knew she was gonna probably bark when my other dogs bark. So I'm like, oh, not the time. Like, go downstairs for at least like 20 minutes and you'll be good.
Aw.
That's very interesting. Amanda, you were talking about earlier about you wanted to be like in movies. Do you have a particular type of character that you'd want to play?
I did a lot of like strange theater in college. I tend to go for like the weirder, darker shows, or like rock musicals. It's either like really weird dark theater or really campy musical. There's like or just farce comedy. But I would love to be in some like I would love to just be in one horror movie. I would.
Scream Queen.
Scream Queen is really like I would have so much fun with that. I think.
Scream Queen.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you guys see the new like Scream movie yet that just came out?
I didn't. I have not.
The
I haven't
one
been to the movies in a
before it.
bit. Yeah, I saw Scream 5, but I haven't seen Scream 6.
It's on the list.
Yeah,
I
it
haven't
was great.
seen it either, but I've been dying. I think like you have to be like over like 17 to see it. I think.
Yeah, I think so. They unless you're accompanied with a parent.
That's
Yeah,
that's
or
a lot,
someone
though.
over 17.
Yeah, exactly. 5 is pretty good.
5 is great. I
5
love
is a pretty good movie. I liked 5 a lot.
So
And
The
I
only
Scream.
thing like I'll watch because of Scream is like Courtney Cox. I'm a huge Friends fan, so I'll be like,
Oh, that's
"Ooh,
great."
That's one main factor watching Scream.
Yeah.
Is
I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
Friends
Courtney
too.
Cox.
Yeah, Amanda loves
Yeah,
I
Friends.
do love Friends.
Yeah.
It's my favorite show. I watch it every night or every like they usually play Friends at like 11 o'clock in the morning on TBS, and that's like usually my break or like 12 o'clock. So I'm like, oh, I was gonna turn on Friends on TBS. Like that's the only show I watch before I go to bed or on my break. That's the only thing I watch.
That's pretty amazing. And you have no interest in being in the movies, Mike, or yes?
No. I am not a gifted actor at all. I don't know how to do it.
That's not true.
It's pretty accurate. I can
You've
sing.
done voiceover acting though. Like,
I have
think-
done voiceover. I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but I don't really know what I'd want to do if I wasn't doing music because music has been such a part of my life forever. I'm really not good at much else. So it's kind of difficult. Like I'm serious.
That's
it's
not
like
true. I'm gonna answer for you because you're good at things. Get out of here. You're just like, I'm terrible at everything. I think you could, and I'm gonna add this to
Don't push me out of
no,
the mirror.
because you're like, I'm the worst. That's
I
not
never
true.
said that.
You said you're not good at anything.
I said
that's a lie.
I don't.
I know that's a lie. But I think that
Ooh.
Mike could do cartoon voiceovers.
Are you
I also want to
fucking
add that
crazy?
to my list of dream jobs if I didn't do music. So
Amanda wants to be a Muppeteer. That's what Amanda
Oh,
wants
why
to
did
be.
I say that?
Yeah.
You know me
Really?
better than me.
We
I would
should've-
love to work
we
on
should have
Sesame
answered
Street. I
for
should've
each
led
other.
with that. Yeah,
We should have answered for each
Okay,
other.
So Mike,
Amanda
answer
should.
for me. Hold
Amanda
on.
should totally be. Amanda's dream job, if she wasn't a musician, would be to somehow work with the Muppets. To be a Muppet. Was it Muppeteer?
So
Yeah,
basically,
Muppeteer.
it's like, near?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Phenomena. Doo, doo, doo.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Yeah,
I
no,
got
I meant-
the-
Muppets.
Who would you be if you weren't like a journalist? Like, who would you be? Yeah, Chris.
Which one you asking?
Oh, like, what would you be if you're like doing podcasting or anything?
Oh, that's interesting because, well, basically what happened to me. Oh, thank you very much, Kylie, for asking me. Although I've been thinking of doing a podcast for 5 years, I think I would have probably gone out and done more opera. Like, I want to get out there and perform more. Like, I'm a tenor.
Oh, cool.
But I used to be part of a singing group, a men's group. We used to be called GOF, GOS, Gentlemen of Song.
I like
And
it.
we used to travel and sing, and then I did several duets with flautists, and yeah, so it was fun. And the pandemic caused a lot of problems, and it really harmed a lot of opera singers too. They couldn't really perform anymore, so they did a lot
Yeah.
of things online. So Kylie, the answer to that, if I wasn't a podcaster, I guess I would be. I was thinking of joining the Toastmasters, or getting more into art and doing film. And I started filming a movie on the pandemic, and I'm still filming. It's going to be like, it's been 2.5 years now, and I haven't, like, movie making. One
Yeah,
of my
yeah,
hobbies.
no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's a good one.
That's really
But I was
cool.
always a singer. But podcasting is like, I hated podcasts. In fact, when I first got my iPhone, I deleted that Apple Podcast icon immediately, and like, I hate podcasts. And then when I thought of coming up with podcasts, I started getting into the Rick Roll podcast, the Rick Bento podcast, Rex Friedman. It was great, and then here we are. So now I love podcasts.
Yeah.
So I had to find out. Okay, so I deleted that Apple Podcast icon. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Okay, now it's back. Yay! But the pandemic just made me fall in love with but yeah, I too, yeah, Amanda, I too, like, I used to do movies. My brother and I used to do filmmaking, used to do movies. Everyone in my family has been either behind the camera or in front of the camera. And it's fun. So I probably would have got into acting, probably got my picture taken professionally from glamour shots. And,
It's all about the angles.
and here's
Yeah,
the
it's all
whole,
about the angles.
I think you've seen this picture of Prince Philip where he's like,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your answer.
That's a good one. Like, I
And
used
you,
to like
Kylie?
delete Apple Podcasts too. Like, I listened to some podcasts, but I was never like a big fan of podcasts until like maybe 2.5 years ago. I always listened to like one podcast. Like,
Yeah,
2 years
and you fall in
ago.
love
I
with
listened
it.
To, like,
It's-
so many.
Yeah, they're
And you
so
meet so many
specialized.
people.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And like, if you're listening, they're so specialized, and you just got to find your niche, and you
Yeah.
got to find the stuff you want to watch and listen to. And
Well, that's if you're interested in something, there's a podcast about it. And that's great because you can find like, oh, this is really cool. I wonder what else there is about it. And then
there you go.
go down the rabbit hole of things that are just like exactly what you want to hear about.
Yeah.
So you just
Yeah,
never
I have
know
to do
what-
some like post like an interview. I have like 3 interviews to upload, like back to back interviews. I have to kind of upload them.
Yeah.
I'm probably just go upload another episode after I get done with this. That's probably
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do.
Yeah,
So I'm
it's
gonna be uploading.
it's good to have It's good to have content though. It's good to have stuff that, it's good to give yourself that space. So in the event that like there's a longer stretch of time where you can't maybe record something, you have all that content.
Yeah.
So true.
So that's good.
Yeah.
So if you're not performing and your dad isn't on the drums and David's not on the guitar and Mike is not on the bass and Amanda Mack is cooking a meal for you, what else do you like to do?
Ooh, I like the beach, swimming. I'm really excited for summer.
Yeah, me too.
It's almost here. When that happens, it is very hard to get me out of the water. So that, what else? I used to do art design for like stores in the area. So I would do like paint different chalkboard canvases and stuff. So I might be like doodling a lot. If I don't have an assignment, I kind of just doodle random things. So if I felt like drawing one day, I would have to be like, hey, Mike, give me a picture idea. And that would be like an assignment that I could then go do.
Good.
Yeah, a lot of that. If I had time, I would definitely do some more theater, honestly. It's like a performance team sport, I feel like, anyway. And yeah.
For sure.
Trying to be
Like
outside,
yeah.
getting some sunshine, doing some theater, swimming, and chasing after everyone else's dogs.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't it feel good? Hey.
Do, 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 do. Yeah, oh, definitely. Hey, Mike, do you know how to cook? Do you know how to make anything, like even if it's toast or?
Yeah,
He's
I
good.
can make some foods.
Oh, he's good.
Wow.
I could do it. I can make some foods.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what you need.
I've been cooking a lot. I started cooking more during the pandemic because it was like I had this time and I was like, well, I'm not going to eat the same thing every day. So let's learn how to cook stuff. So, I'm not formally trained or anything like that, but
Google is great.
Google is great.
It's great
Or
resource.
cookbooks are great too, like recipes and stuff.
Cookbooks are excellent.
One of my favorite books that I have is just How to Cook Everything. And it's a big book and it tells you how to cook everything.
Cooking's also, it's a big part of my family. My family, we've always done a lot of cooking, pretty much throughout, every big holiday, big celebration is surrounded by food that we make. So I figured it might as well, get in on it and carry the family kind of legacy and continue to do it. So yeah, I cook quite a bit. I make a lot of different things.
This mac and cheese is really, really good. I demand it every year on my birthday.
I do a good
now.
mac
So I'm
and cheese.
It's my birthday, so where's
You
my mac and
mean
cheese?
Amanda
please?
mac and cheese?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I'm a big mac and cheese person, so I kind of know like how like it tastes.
It's so good.
Yeah, no, it's
like every
good.
time I go to a restaurant, if they have mac and cheese, I'm ordering it. It's always
yeah. You have to. You have to.
It's the rules.
It's a great food.
It's a staple. Yeah, definitely.
And I hate that it gets relegated to like a lot of times it's like it's on the kids menu. It's like no. Everyone should be able to.
Like, oh, you can order mac and cheese on kids menu. Or you're like 17. I'm like, I don't care. At least I'm eating mac and cheese. That's the only thing I care about.
I will pay for the mac and cheese and chicken fingers.
So that's very interesting. Oh, and what do you think of the keto recipes? I was on. I started keto sort of in January because I needed to lose a considerable amount of weight because of some sort of medical issue, and I lost I'm like 30. I lost 30 pounds since January.
Wow.
I'm really
Yeah, I
happy.
mean that could really help. Whatever works for you. It's one of those things. If you could stay on it, and you could be consistent, that's all that matters, really.
I do find recipes that are like keto, or we have friends or family members that have a lot of different allergies.
Yeah.
So I actually do enjoy baking and stuff like that. If it's like, okay, this group of people's here, what can I make that everyone can have that is also really delicious? So it's kind of like similar to like what I was saying, like, okay, when I'm drawing, like I need like, okay, here's an assignment, go draw that. I'm like, okay, what's the group? What can everyone have? What are my parameters? Figure it out. And like, I enjoy those kind of puzzles, and it's made me learn how to like make like rice flour, snickerdoodles or whatever that. There was one birthday where Mike was he was trying not to eat too much sugar that year. So I was like, okay, It's a birthday though. You need a birthday treat. So like I figured out how to make this like peanut butter chocolate covered. It was almost like peanut butter cups, but like you put them in the freezer.
Yum.
And something about the ingredients, it tasted like an actual peanut butter
They're
cup.
pretty good.
So it's
Like Reese's peanut butter cups, like those kind of
Yeah,
peanut butter cups.
yeah. Precisely.
Wow.
yeah. So
I'm
I
a
like.
big Reese's peanut butter like person. Me and my dad are. He, like,
Do you
me
like
and
the
him, if
shapes?
There's like Reese's cups in the refrigerator. We usually put them in the fridge so it like tastes better. It'd be like more the kind of like not getting bad. And the person that's always like eating it is me or my father. It's always gone.
It's
Those
like
are good.
Reese's cups and then Thin Mints, the Girl Scout cookies. Those immediately go in the freezer. Those are the rules.
Well, the one thing is, when I found out recently that my older brother him and his wife bought a bakery just up north here. So cakes, pies, cupcakes. I have like a strange desire to learn how to make not only a cupcake, but the best cupcakes, to the point where I like to have like a business where I sell cupcakes and start partnering with bakeries. And tell you the truth, guys, I've never been into a full-fledged bakery before to buy a cupcake. I mean, I've been to like Starbucks and donut shops and coffee shops that have bakery type goods, but I've never been inside a bakery and said, "Hey, I want your best donut. I want the panda donut. I want the TikTok donut. I want that." I haven't done that. I usually get the vanilla dips from our beloved Canadian Tim Hortons donuts.
Hey, Tim Hortons. Timmy
The sprinkles.
Hoes. Yeah, those are good. I like a
Yeah.
good Tim Hortons.
I like those. I want to learn how to make them because I want to learn how to make donuts. And I want to put like the onstage donuts and have a
That'd be
donut
good.
with-
You should do that. You
Yeah,
should make donuts.
Make it as like a short term goal to make donuts or like a donut shop. Make it as like a short term or long term goal.
I would
Yeah, or a cupcake
happily
house on
volunteer to be a
local.
test subject.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, the logo onstage podcast on it, like a cake and a donut with the on button that I have, and these are my donuts, and so you never know. Like you have merchandise, T-shirts, and you have Bad Mary T-shirts and stuff.
We do.
and yeah, so that's pretty
Yeah,
successful
you can
for you.
always
Why not have-
put like on stage podcast on a donut. You could always
Yeah,
do
why
that.
not?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
because
think I might do
know
that.
if there's like Weiss in Canada. Chris, he's like, I know like for me, there's a bunch. Like I live by Weiss. It's like a 5-minute walk down to Weiss, a minute drive, and like you can always order a cake and then or like a cupcake or something. Just design it and put whatever you want on it, like a picture or something. Like you can just put whatever you want on it.
Well, guys, then I noticed that every podcast or every YouTube channel, even Think Media, when he first started his podcast, he has merchandise. Everyone has merchandise. Kylie, do you even have merchandise?
No, I thought about it, but it's like I
Yeah.
kind of want to grow my platform rather than like
Yeah.
have
Yeah,
no one buy
merchandise,
it
you
and
can-
waste my time.
Maybe the donut shirt. That's the first.
Yeah, you do the
Yeah.
on-stage donut shirt.
Yeah,
I think I might do that and make some.
and I
make
can
a-
help design, Chris. I can help design. I'm good at designing. So if you need
Good.
someone to design, I'm your person. So
Do
Oh,
not
really? You're a
not listen
designer
to the
too?
onstage
Wow.
podcast.
well,
It's
I'm
the
good
donut.
with like kind of
boom.
designing. Like my sister
Not
taught me.
that.
She runs a couple of businesses, online businesses. So she kind of like taught me all those type of things and stuff. So I kind of like know a bunch of things from that and stuff.
And she's good, guys. Like she does. She has the woman empowerment business as well. And I mean, when she says she's going to do something, she's going to do something. So
That's awesome.
I want to come up with a bagel or donut or cake that has my onstage podcast on it. People
You should
look
do
at
that.
it.
Yeah, like put your face on it, Chris. Just like maybe
Yeah,
like
it's like-
say, "Oh, put your
People
face
say,
on
"What's
it."
this?" It's my on switch in the beginning for I thought it looked familiar, and then see, I'm gonna eat your podcast title. And people are gonna
Or
love
you
it.
can like
And they're
delegate
gonna,
you a picture of you with a podcast mic and it says on stage podcast.
Exactly. I think it's a good idea. I was thinking of toying with it. Guys, you really have a feeling that you just want to, when you're dancing on stage, you want to take your guitar and break it on stage like most of these rock musicians?
I don't know. Well, Mike's shaking his head. I don't have the guitar to break, but
No.
I've definitely almost broken their guitars probably by flailing too much.
Yeah, you also almost broke my fingers.
I know I've punched your bass.
I've been punched.
Mike has
flat out been punched by mistake.
I warned you before. It's just
there's arms flailing, and sometimes the stages are small, and sometimes you get clipped.
So we've never intentionally broken any instruments, but I'm sure we've broken something. But I know during the set I've punched both your bass and David's guitar definitely out of tune, because I like punched it up and I was like, oh, I know I knocked something. It was me.
So I want to tell you this much. I have no desire to break my instruments.
I broke this chair.
Yes, you did. I have no desire to break my instruments because I like them too much.
We did see the Misfits play at
Madison
Square Garden. We were lucky to be at that show. And Jerry only...
Who's the bass player for the Misfits?
Bass player for the Misfits. Jerry only broke so many... He just broke so many basses.
I know. Hey, man, that power to him. Because I don't have the heart to do it. It was so much fun.
They were like, Jerry. Like, they were just all calling him out on it. They're just walking him out with new basses the whole entire show. Yeah. It's like, that song's over, breaking this bass. Yeah. Next bass. This song's over, breaking this bass.
Yeah, I brought that up because I don't know if you're familiar with the story with a Canadian musician named Dave Carroll and his band Sons of Maxwell. So what happened is that he wrote a song called United Breaks Guitars because he took his guitar onto the United Airlines, and when he got it back, it was broken. So he wrote a song called United Breaks Guitars, and he did a whole video of where he's got the guitar on the airline, and United Airlines was like, we're sorry, Mr. Carroll, and everything. So they replaced it. But yeah, and so if you ever take your any of your instruments on an airplane, just be sure they're insured, huh?
They are, and also I loosen the strings and I lock the case. I do all that stuff. Yeah,
bubble wrap.
Yeah.
We put it in a little force field.
Yes.
I don't know why they don't supply all the instruments for you, so you don't have to carry that around. Like, it's
an affinity thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to play on a bass I haven't played on before. You know, if I went to a club and just showed up and they had all the gear and they were like, here, use this bass. I'm like, I don't know this bass. I have not spent any time with this bass. There is an affinity to it. It's like a baseball player's mitt, right? Or, you know, like a conductor's baton. It's like you want to use the tools that you're used to using, or, you know, a chef's knife, right? All those things are very, very important to the person. And when you lose an instrument or break an instrument or an instrument gets stolen, it's like it's a hefty loss.
That's happened.
Because there's a lot of time that
David had a guitar stolen.
Yeah, David definitely had a guitar stolen from him out of his car.
Yeah.
But you know, there's so much time that you put in with those instruments that you learn how to use them, that if they break or get stolen or get lost, it's a setback. It's a huge setback. It's like losing a friend.
Well, I always find it interesting because drummers don't always have the ability to like take their instruments with them. Sometimes we'll play and it's like, no, everybody's playing this set. And, you know, my dad a lot, he'll have to change how he plays like on the fly that day, because when he brings his set to our shows when we can do that, which is most of the time, he'll play with 2 rack toms. So we'll play somewhere and they'll be like, no, we only have 1. So now he has to then kind of change his drumming a bit because their setup is missing one of the surfaces that he routinely hits. So it's like the fly, you know. So when I think about drummers, like I agree entirely with what Mike said, like because I was at my aunt's house recently and everybody was just kind of sitting around in a circle, like playing music for fun. Like we weren't even fully playing like the same song together, but she handed me a ukulele and I play ukulele. I taught myself during the pandemic because I had a lot of time on my hands and I wanted stuff to do with those hands. So I taught myself on mine that I play at home, and I have 2 that I practice with. But then I went there and it's like it's not tuned the same way and the frets are spaced out a bit differently, and it's like, okay, my fingers are used to going this way on it, my nails are too long for this instrument, but like if I were to play it at home, I got it. Now I translate that to the drums, and there are some times where if we play a new place and my dad's like, okay, I know what they said their backline and their setup is and everything, but it said online that we did have 2 rack toms, and we get there and they've got 1. Yeah, so it's not a huge deal, but it's it's always interesting for me with that because like Plague Vendor, a band that we brought up earlier, has no rack toms, so their whole setup is entirely different. So it's it's just interesting what you got to do with what you have available to you.
Yeah, you got to use the tools you got to the best of your ability. That's really it.
I thought you guys have a road, like, what is it, a road crew or whatever, like they set up the drums for you and the bass and everything. All you do is you go up there and you grab everything and play them. Like,
nah, we usually
to set up the drums.
The drums are usually at the club, unless we bring our own drums, and if so, a couple like 10-15 minutes.
No, he's been my dad's been drumming since he's 4 years old. So he's very protective of his stuff, and also has it down to like his science.
Yeah,
so.
It's not as long as you'd think, but a lot of clubs, have at least the shells of a drum kit set up, and we usually just bring the hardware and the snare drum and the kick pedal, so it doesn't take that long to set up.
So, any crazy fan stories you want to share with us?
Not really. We have a lot of great fans and a lot of great people that listen to our music. So we don't have any crazy stories. It's just fun to meet the folks that we've connected with online or at a show.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a crazy, like, oh, this fan did this wacky thing, but well, there was one time we were playing at a club and a guy just like decided to walk up on the stage that we didn't know. So there's always those things that happen where it's like, oh, hey guy.
Wow.
But as far as like fans or people that we've interacted with and we've seen at multiple shows, it's always cool to meet a person for the first time that we've either like podcasted with or met online with their internet handle. It's like, I know you by your screen name almost. And it's like, oh, I'm XYZ772. It's like, oh my goodness, we've been talking for years. It's so awesome to see your face and meet you in person. So like that has been happening more recently, and that's awesome.
It's just cool. Like, it's always crazy good, not really crazy bad.
How do you balance maintaining a creative vision with making commercial promises?
That is a great question. That is a great question because we definitely have a timeline for our projects that we want to work on or that we are working on. So we'll be like, okay, we want to release something in the spring, or we plan to release something in the spring. And I'm a kind of artist where I will sit and record the same vocal line like 100 times until I'm like, no, that's the one. But you really need to work within the time frame, the parameters you have, and make the best version of what you can, in that time. Otherwise, like for me, I would never release anything if I waited for it to be perfect before I put it out.
We say this all the time with recording, and you get to a point where it's like we have the vision, the song is there, this is the best it's going to be. We always strive to create the best possible music, but like part of the thing too is if you look back, it's like, oh yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody has mistakes on it.
I don't
blatantly
hear it.
No one hears it, but
the band.
If you talk to Queen, they'll tell you that they didn't play this correctly 100% and that correctly. And it's one of those things where it's like, it doesn't matter. It's one of the greatest rock songs of all time. So when we're putting our music out there, we just want to do the best we possibly can every single time. And in terms of vision, we're lucky that we're not really beholden to anyone except for ourselves. We're totally independent. So we don't have to change how we write anything. We've never had to alter the songs we wrote to fit a mold. We're just trying to write the best songs and produce the best music we can.
Our label is us.
Yeah, we're our own label. We're our own recording agents. We've worked with producers and stuff, and they've been awesome. But anytime we've worked with anyone that isn't us as the band, we wanted to work with someone who had a similar mindset and a similar vision. In terms of a commercial product, I think that people are going to want to listen. We want to make music that we want to play and have fun playing and put out there. And we know that there are going to be people who want to hang out and have fun with us. So that's kind of the whole vibe.
On the other side too, we know there are people that don't like us.
Yeah, that's fine.
And that's fine. Trying to, there has been a bit where it's like, you know, as a musician in these days, you try to follow the trend, or like, oh, what's everyone covering right now, or what's the dance everyone's doing online, or what is the audio that everyone's using. And it's hard to stay on top of all of that in that timeline while creating a product that you think that people want to then hear. And you've got to take all these things into consideration and say, okay, what really matters to me as an artist? What's our goal? And if you try to write what you think people want to hear, it's not really going to be what you want to play, you know?
Or
So
it might not be.
Or it might
It's
not
likely that it won't.
You know,
unless
but,
you're lucky.
Well, with that in mind, like if you're writing me, like, I think that people would like this, not like, oh, this is really cool, I feel like that goes into that part well there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a difficult balancing act to try to manage all those things, because you want people to like your music, you know, but you can't just write it with that intention for everyone to like it. You've got to keep true to you.
Also, I mean, I've never thought, like, whenever I sat down to write a song, I never thought, like, I need to write something that is going to be mainstream, or I need to write something that X, Y, or Z people need to like. I sit down to write songs that I like, and, you know, and hopefully the band likes, and then we could put our heart and soul into it that way and share it with the world, and hopefully they like it as well.
How about you, Kylie? If you were a rock star or a singer-songwriter, what one instrument would you want to be known as the greatest player in the world?
Ooh.
That's a great question.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's really hard because I love music. I'm a big music person. I'm really into everything. If I had to choose, I'd probably be a piano person. Like, playing the piano is probably my answer.
That's
Good
I'm
choice,
open
like
to playing
piano guys,
anything
yeah.
though. I'm pretty like open person in terms of playing instruments and stuff.
Yeah,
Would you
that's
have
awesome.
started when you were a kid, or would you have just started now?
I think I probably like when I was a little kid, I really didn't start things because I was so shy and had bad anxiety. So that kind of prevented me to kind of do things as a kid. But like I think like if I had a chance, I'd definitely do it right now. In this point in time, at 16 years old, I'd definitely do it now. Wow, I still
Yeah.
have it.
You guys better follow Kylie, because she's been on talk shows, and she's like, I talked to someone who I never even knew that would know Kylie knew Kylie, and I'm
That's
like, how did she
amazing.
know? I said, wow, is she a woman of empowerment? She said, yeah, I know her. I'm like, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, your name gets out there. I mean, seeing you bring in Kylie Montigny, they're like, oh, Kylie, she's a woman of empowerment. She's a podcaster, right? I added her podcast as the first one as mentioned, so people just click on it. It's easier for them.
That's awesome.
That's a fun fact. I never knew that, Chris.
Yeah,
I
it's
really
amazing.
appreciate that. And now I
Um,
need to receive, like, now people actually need to text me to let me know. Like, I'm like always happy to get messages like that. I get messages like that kind of all the time about it. So,
Oh
it's,
yeah,
it's
that's why I like her.
amazing to kind of see it though. Like, that people kind of
Yeah.
enjoy your work. It's honestly the reason why you do what you do, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her as a podcast host, and I like her as a co-host, and she's really good with her questions, and she presents herself like she's a 40-year-old in a 17-year-old body. She's very intelligent, and
Hey,
she's gonna
people,
go
I can't
places.
tell you how much people have said that to me, that like they think like I'm only 16 years old, and they like, oh, I thought you're like, you act like you're like 30 years old. I'm like, I don't know if I don't know if I should be offended, or I don't know if I should take it as a compliment. Like, it's
Why not?
kind of hard to tell what I should take it as.
I got a compliment the other day when someone said to my friend, "Hey, you should check out this podcast." Yeah? Oh, I know that guy, and it was my podcast. So you never know who's going to be watching, and then
That's
it's going
awesome.
to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, like what is like kind of like your creative process?
Yeah.
So it differs. There are times when, I'll be putting my laundry from the washer to the dryer, and I'll come up with a hook and just sing it out loud. And then, luckily, one of the beauties of technology and having a recording device in your pocket at all times is that you can easily just hum something down to be worked on later. That happens a lot, but sometimes you need to sit down What's up?
I have so many unnamed voice memos
Yeah,
that are like,
yeah.
oh, that line that like we were like, okay, the melody's this, but then we don't know what to do with the vocal line for this measure. And like I'll literally be in the shower,
Yeah.
and it'll come to me, and I'll have to sing it until I get out of the shower, or else I'm like, the second you stop, you're gonna forget
Yep.
it, and then I record it immediately, and then bring it
But
Yeah.
to rehearsal that
But
night.
there are times though when you kind of have to like push yourself to sit down and work on something till something comes out. So unfortunately, while I'd love to tell you that there is a set process every time, it's always different, and each song has a different thing. There have been times where I had a song and I brought it to band practice, and the band was like, I don't really think this is going anywhere. And then we don't work on it for a long time. And then
Wow.
I'm like, you know what? I think I could fix it. And then you fix it, and then we bring it in. It's like, oh, that's great. Let's go with that. So the creative process is always really varied. But, with our band, it's always like we'll come up with stuff like on our own and then bring it to rehearsal, and then we'll work on it in rehearsal, and, we'll throw the lyrics in there, and we'll get the drum stuff in there, bass guitar doing their thing. And it really comes together as a collaborative experience when we do write. And it's good because it's funny because we're starting to really just hit the stride, and we're always hitting that stride with that and writing songs that we really love.
So we'll also in writing, because we record everything at David's home studio, so we practice everything in that same studio. So
Wow.
while we're working on the songwriting process, we'll record like the first day that we've gotten together and played through it. Before that practice is over, we will record that version of it. So then when we go on our own ways, we can listen back to that and either go like, okay, I really love that part, or
Yeah.
the vocal line there, I either need to change those lyrics, or the syncopation in that line, it needs to be changed a bit because it's not fitting well into the next one. And David's been great with also giving me a version that doesn't have any vocals on it. So if I'm like, if it's the first time that, or if the guys have like played through the arrangement, and then I'm just kind of given lyrics, because a lot of times when David will bring in like his bones of the song, because that's the basis of most of the songs starting out, is either Mike will bring in like, here's my arrangement, here's the bones with the lyrics and some vocal line idea, and then he'll pass it off to me to either like fill in gaps of lyrics, change some if they're not fitting, or I'll play with the vocal lines and whatnot. And then David, same kind of thing. He'll be like, here's the bones of this one. Here's the line of lyrics. I have this rhythm idea, but sing whatever you want to over it for now, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's
Ah.
It's a real collaborative
all-
experience.
all
yeah.
over. So at the end of that, I'll get versions that don't have me singing on them, because I'm like, I don't know. And that the versions with the vocals might be the only kind that exists like that, because by the time it's recorded on the record, it's totally different.
To like ask you guys, like, what is like your go-to karaoke song?
If I have no time to think at all and just need to sign my name on the list, I do Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's my like, I know I can do that one. So I've been trying to make a list though recently, because I am the worst at picking karaoke songs for myself. I really am. I
Terrible.
Really, really am.
It's a bit. She has no talent in that field. She can sing the songs really well, but she'll go up and pick a karaoke song and come up to me and like, I put my name for this song, and my response is like, really? All right.
What's yours, Kylie?
Ooh, that's hard. Like, I have so many like songs I love to sing. I'm a big Keith Urban fan, so obviously, like, I probably choose one of his songs. But if I had to choose a karaoke song, I would probably choose. Oh my gosh,
It's hard. It's a hard choice.
I know.
It's hard.
I know. And it's hard when you get asked that question, because all of a sudden I've forgotten every song I've ever heard in my life.
The last time I did karaoke, I was signed up for Celine Dion. It's all coming back. There we go.
Oh, yeah, it's all coming
back. Oh, that's a good
back.
one.
They didn't tell me. It was just like, oh, by the way, you're singing this, and I was like, what? Okay, it was fun. I would sign up with that one again. That was an accidental karaoke that I would definitely choose to do next time.
Like,
Well,
if
mine
I
is
had to
Billy
choose a
Joel.
karaoke song, it would probably be like "Good Girl" with Carrie Underwood. I would probably choose that one.
Very
I love
cool.
Carrie Underwood, or "Wild Hearts" by Keith Urban. I have to add some Keith Urban in there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, mine would be a Billy Joel song. Would be "You May Be Right." Friday night I crashed your party. Saturday I said I'm sorry. And
Hey,
when
He's
I
a
get
Long
inside,
Island native.
yeah,
yeah, Billy Joel is me and Billy Joel are from the same town.
Billy Joel saved my high school.
Yes.
Fact.
Yeah, with a cape
No?
on.
Yeah.
really.
No, he really.
No, he wasn't wearing a cape.
wearing a cape. But yes, he did say. I went to for my senior year of high school. I went to Long Island High School of the Arts. It was BOCES at the time. Now it's Long Island High School for the Arts. After I graduated, they just lost a lot of funding that they had. So all of their programs were kind of getting threatened with being shut down. They did theater, music, design, dance, like all of the arts. And he kind of swooped in and saved the school.
Yeah, he gave
which-
them a lot of funding. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's the Rosalind Joel School for the Arts. They named it after his daughter. And it's still open, and my teachers are still there, and we're just very, very happy that the school continues. So thank you, Mr. Billy Joel, for saving my high school.
Yeah,
his
if
daughter
I
lets
could,
her-
like, now I'm like thinking about this now. If I could choose a karaoke song like to add to those two, it would probably be "Suspicious Minds" by Elvis Presley, or if
Yeah.
I Could Dream.
Wow.
I'm the biggest Elvis Presley fan ever.
That's
He's
awesome.
Like, those are my like kind of like go to right at that time.
Uh-huh.
too. Like,
Got a little Elvis is great. You gotta have
Yeah,
a
I'm a
little
huge
Elvis.
Elvis
Well,
fan. My aunt got me into him and stuff. Like,
Well-
she's the biggest Elvis fan like ever, and she got me into him in the Elvis movie with Austin Butler.
yeah.
That got me into it even more.
He was
So
great.
that's probably like I had to add some Elvis Presley in there.
Well,
Okay.
Elvis is everywhere. So
Like
Elvis,
I wish he
I
was like
love
still
Elvis
alive. So I can
Costello.
see him on concert. That's like my like if I was alive back then, like the 60s, 70s, that would be my number one goal.
Oh, Elvis.
Who would you like to collaborate? Oh, well, let's start with Bad Mary, of course. Turn this into a bad question. Haha. Who would you? Is there a band or a certain singer that you like to collaborate with?
the Muppets.
The Muppets. I mean, Lady Gaga got to collaborate
Yeah.
with the Muppets, and it was beautiful. So did Weezer.
wow.
Weezer collaborated with the Muppets.
Who would you want to collaborate with? Other than the Muppets.
Well, there is a local collaboration we've been talking about as a dream goal for a bit.
Yeah.
So there's a band that is very good friends of ours. They're actually playing with us on that April 7th show in Bethpage at Mr. Beery's. But they're the Samurai Pizza Cats. They have a horn section. They're a ska punk reggae funk is what their genre, I guess, would be. But they're just also like a loud, great time. And there are a couple songs that we have that when we play together, they'll hop up and play like horns on some things. And we were like, wouldn't it be cool if one day we could just get all of us in a room and get that recorded? So that's like a local collab goal.
Yeah.
As far as like a grand scheme, I don't know in what capacity, and this isn't that far of a deviation from the Muppets, but like, can Dave Grohl just come over? Like, can we just have him in the studio? He can hit the garbage pail for all. Like, I would just want him there.
Oh yeah, there's some great
I
drum
love him.
players out there. Yeah, and you guys get to sing with Kermit the Frog. Then you'll be going, yeah.
See, Dave Grohl gotten to play with the Muppets.
I know. He did.
He got to play with Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem.
I know.
On Miss Piggy's Late Night Show.
I know.
Oh,
And
wow.
he was in the Muppets. I like the Muppets a lot. I would turn this into a Muppets podcast very easily. Don't let me do it. I'll
No,
just
don't.
talk about them for the whole night.
Hey, I reached out to my friend who actually works at the Muppet Workshop, and
that's cool.
I was gonna try to get. I wanted to do a segment where I would interview a Muppet, and then I would be a Muppet podcaster. So that one podcast would just be nothing but Muppets. So you're
excellent.
inspiring me to do that. You're
That's
inspiring
You
me.
should. You should.
That's cool.
But he hasn't responded yet because I think he's so busy. But he would tell me in high school about how he used to work like him and Jim Henson and were friends,
wow.
and he currently has his own or maybe get what's her name, Darcy Lynn. maybe on as
Oh,
well.
my cousin is such a huge fan of Darcy Lynn. She loves
Darcy Lynn.
Lynn. You got to meet her a couple of years ago. She's like, I mean, she's like, she used to be kind of into kind of those like Muppets and type of thing. She got all of the Muppets and stuff because of Darcy Lynn. I think she has like all of them. I'm not sure if she's like still a huge fan with her now. But I knew like 2 years ago, she was the biggest Darcy Lynn fan. Like she talked about her all the time, had posters and stuff. Like
wow.
she was her biggest fan.
Oh, wow.
Here's my dream. Grandpa from Jeff Dunham's Grandpa being interviewed by Ernie, because I used to do an impression of Ernie. That's Bert. Yeah. And that'd be kind of interesting. Or maybe Peanut being interviewed by Elmo or something. That would be an ultimate.
Aw.
That'd be
I
great.
like Peanut. I like Peanut's funny. I love Peanut.
Well, Elmo has his talk show now.
Elmo does have a talk
So-
show.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Not Too Late Show
With
is what
Elmo.
it's called. So it's the
my
Not Too
gosh.
Late Show
I
with
never knew
Elmo. It's so
Oh,
it's on
really?
I think HBO Max.
HBO Max, yep.
Max. It's just a very wholesome show. It's nothing but joy. It's just
Yeah, it
nice.
really is a fun show.
I take it there is no podcast out there where it's just strictly just Muppets interviewing Muppets or puppets
I
interviewing
think there
puppets. That'd be
is.
interesting.
I think there is.
There's
There's
gotta
There's
be
got to be
one.
something.
You said there's
Yeah,
podcasts for
there
everything.
definitely
Yeah.
is somewhere out there.
There's-
We just need to do research.
Yeah,
There's
we got to search for that.
definitely
Muppets on Muppets.
That'd be interesting. I would do that. If he ever contact me and said, I'd love to be on your show, I would definitely say, okay, you know what? I got to contact Amanda and Mike because I think they're going to
Oh my gosh,
Be interviewed
yeah.
by one of them. Yeah.
I think so.
I would lose my mind.
Amanda would lose it.
I would. Oh,
You would have to call
Yeah.
Amanda immediately.
Oh, definitely would. Anything else, Kylie, that you have?
No, I think we covered everything.
Cool.
Yeah. I just have a couple more questions for you, if you don't mind. Mike
Sure.
and Amanda Mac and Cheese there. So, what's been your favorite moment or achievement as a band so far?
Oh, it's Japan tour. Like the first Japan tour is nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing comes close because the Warped Tour in 2015 was pretty great as well. But our first tour of Japan and bringing our music to the other side of the world to play in front of amazing crowds in Japan was a dream come true, and we're so lucky enough that we get to do it again soon. So I think that might be one of the proudest moments, one of the proudest things that I've done in my life. It's the thing I'm the
Nice.
most proud of. And as someone who grew up appreciating so much that came from Japan, to have our art appreciated by folks over there was just like, it was such a cool validation and such a cool, like, music is just a universal language. It resonates with people everywhere.
yeah. That's
Excellent.
definitely for me too. Because for me, like, it's something that I still can't believe we got to do, and am coming very close to, oh my goodness, we're about to get on a plane and do it again. And it's just wild. And it really is like a childhood, like, pipe dream coming true, of like, oh, it would be cool one day to see if we can. And it's like, oh wow, we're on stage in Japan and people are yelling our lyrics back at us. This is wild. So another singular moment, if we're talking singular moments, something that was closer to home, in Mr. Beery's, which is our home base is Mr. Beery's, and we did our first album release show for our last full album, the concept album, The Return of Space Girl, and we had released it, and then within that week, it was like 4 days
4
later,
days, 4 or 5 days.
I think.
Wow.
So our audience had like 4 days to listen to it. Then we played the release show. It was packed, and they all knew the words. And it's wild to have a room full of people. We didn't release any singles from it. We didn't have any. We did on Patreon. We recorded it kind of as a community style, and we let that be a little bit of an open experience. But songs that we didn't play out, songs that we didn't really play on our live stream, to play them out for the first time and have the crowd already know them. And that was a validation, but that was just like okay, we're really all here to do this. And that kind of set the tone for everything going forward for me. But
Yeah, sure, for sure.
but yeah.
Okay,
It's really cool.
that's good. Let's wrap it up with this last question. We're going to ask everyone has to answer this one. Okay, first me. The question is, what do you hope people take away from your, and a name here, what do you think people take away from your podcast? To treat people with respect, to enjoy talking to them. If you're going to become a podcaster, just do it. Especially now, just while the iron is hot, just do it and do your best, and just try to get your niche out there. Kylie, as a woman of empowerment, someone would come up to you and ask you, woman empowerment, and I want to be part of this process or part of this girls group. What do you tell them?
Like, I would say just like go for it. Like, even like, because I know for me as a kid, I didn't have any role models. I never had any kind of women people to look up to. So I'll be like, just like go into podcasting or try like form an organization or do fundraisers or do whatever you can to make an impact. Whether you're an actor, podcaster, whatever. Like, even if you're doing that, like someone is going to look up to you no matter what your career field you did. Like, I grew up with journalists in my family, and I looked up to one of my cousins so dramatically that I started a podcast because of her. Like, this is always like that one person that would change basically everything for you. And another person that helped me was Gina Davis. Like, she helped me become passionate about women empowerment.
That's
So
awesome.
it's always those two people that always impact your life and your career field. So I'm always say like just work hard and just stay true to what you believe in. Because if you stay true to what you believe in and work hard for your dreams and talk about what you're passionate about, which is women empowerment, sports, or want to be an inspiration, mentor women in career fields, like you're going to still be an inspiration for so many people, and like you don't know how much you're impacting until you were working hard for your dreams and doing amazing things.
Totally true.
And what about Bad Mary? What do you want people to take away from your music?
Our whole mindset is, we're let's have a good time, right? Let's have fun. Like, kind of like what you said, let's treat each other with respect and have a good time and make sure that, we perform because we want people to come out and have fun. We want to give them a little 30 or 45 or 60-minute vacation from the insanity of the world, and also just, make people feel empowered as well.
I want our music to take away their stress.
Yeah.
So I'll reverse it a
nice.
little bit. Let's have our music take away their stress, take away their problems, and just give them some time to not focus on anything else but the present, but the moment, the people in the room, and having fun.
Yep. Remember
That
why
is
we're all
nice.
here.
I love it. Okay, guys, really appreciate you being on the podcast. Thank you, Kylie, for joining me. And it's a wonderful time. It's all just about having fun and getting to know each other and being confident with strangers. And now we're not strangers. And it's
No.
so fun to hear about music and just go really deep and down into someone's psyche, try to figure out what makes them tick, what makes them who they are. And thank you, guys. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Kylie. And
Thank
we're
you.
going to close the stream and appreciate this. And so if my friend ever contacts me, I might even go reach out for someone. Says, there's anybody out there with a Muppet who wants to like do an interview podcast? And then I'll call Amanda, say, hey, Amanda, there's a Muppet who wants to interview you.
I'm so down.
Amanda's
I'm so down.
I'm going to speak for her and say that she would be there with bells on.
Yeah, she would be the first one to say yes quickly.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, guys. So wonderful. So bye. Gonna end this stream.
Thank you so much.